Hi, and welcome to the Changing Perspectives podcast, the show where we discuss a variety of topics including grief, parenting, relationships, mental health, and pop culture. Join us and explore a number of changing perspectives. We're your hosts, Jenni and Josh Brennan. 80 episodes, Jenni.
I know, that's very exciting.
What's going on?
Nothing. That was pretty schmaltzy of you.
It's 80 episodes.
No, the way you're like Jenni and Josh Brennan.
We're going to go through this again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Restart. And
Restart. No, I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
Hi,
yes,
everybody.
It's 80.
Welcome to episode 80. 80 episodes of the Changing Perspectives podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We're so excited that you guys have stuck with us. Hopefully have some new listeners. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I'm excited to, as we approach the 100th episode, we have to come up with something, Jenni.
I know. I told you, I think that it should be like a compilation. Like we should pull like, I don't know, like a greatest hits.
Yeah.
Like a review episode.
I think so. It's going to be a little bit of work, but I think it's be worth it.
Yeah. All
right. Well, hey, if you haven't done so already, everyone, you have to sign up for Jenni's newsletter. Please visit changingperspectivesonline.com and sign up for the newsletter. You get a monthly newsletter released on the first of every month. In addition to that, a Wednesday wisdom email with access to some great links and lots of access to Jenni's great writing. And also merchandise. Changingperspectivesonline.com. Visit the shop. Check out all of that excellent merchandise that Jenni has made available to us. We are approaching the holidays. We already have some Christmas-centric items in there, but you should, I'm sure we'll have some additional offerings for the winter. Don't you think, Jenni?
I think if I can be creative.
Maybe. We have some Changing Perspectives centered gear. We have a Buy Jenni and Lean Into It in addition to our Changing Perspectives logo. Mm-hmm. So you can, if you're looking to buy something for somebody from the holidays, if you got a Changing Perspective fan on your gift buying list, you can go ahead and do that.
Okay, can we just get to the content now?
You want to get to the content now?
Yes, because you're going to want to do a live read now.
Well, I have to.
You don't really have to every episode.
Yes, we do.
No, okay. All right.
We should.
Okay,
all right. Gonna.
Then you can't be selling all this other stuff during it.
Pull your mic up just a little bit.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
Stop clearing your throat.
Okay. Hey, folks. Changing Perspectives is brought to you by BetterHelp.com. That's BetterHelp.com. BetterHelp is an online counseling resource who makes professional counseling accessible, affordable, and convenient. They offer 4 ways to get licensed counseling through video sessions, phone call, live chat, and messaging. As everyone knows all too well, these are challenging times, and the broad expertise of the BetterHelp Counselor Network could provide anyone struggling with life's challenges the help they need, anytime, anywhere. Whatever struggles you're facing, whether it's depression, grief and loss, anxiety, BetterHelp.com can provide you the counselor that's the right fit. In fact, when you head on over to BetterHelp.com/changingperspectives, you can fill out a survey so they can match you with a mental health professional that will meet your needs. Listen, you may not have access to the help you need where you are. BetterHelp allows you the opportunity to access resources from all over. Visit BetterHelp.com/changingperspectives. After signing up, you'll be matched with a counselor in 24 hours or less. Again, visit BetterHelp.com/changingperspectives. And it is our absolute pleasure to be able to read that live read to you all.
I agree. Yeah. It's my pleasure. I just think you also then fill the beginning with a whole lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what we do.
I don't like doing that.
Let's
just get into the content.
People get happy to be reminded about the fun things you can find at Changing Perspectives.
I would skip over all of this.
Okay. Well, what are we talking about today, Jenni? We are talking about a relationship episode content.
A quiz.
Yeah, a quiz. We haven't done a relationship episode in a minute. Mm-hmm. So we thought it was time to do so. And we're not streaming live this week, but we will be most likely back live with you all next week. And we are a little bit of a day late on the recording. We had a busy weekend, so we couldn't fit in some studio time. But this is so happy Tuesday morning. This will be released on the 20th. So if you're listening to this right now on the day it came out, it's the 20th. We are quickly approaching the end of October. Hey, what's your comfort level with conflict regarding like sharing your feelings, Jenni?
Well, that's twofold, right? Because it's sort of it's different for in my relationship with you versus in my relationship with others. So I would say it depends.
So I think that absolutely depends. But I think for the purposes of today's episode, I think we should focus on you and me.
Right. But some of the questions in the quiz, we've already taken the quiz. But I don't know your answers and you don't know mine. But some of the questions in the quiz were not specific to our relationship. So it's interesting. So there's 22 questions. So I feel like we should get in. So there's 22 questions. Each partner takes the quiz on their own and then gets kind of a score and an overview. And you can pay, I think, $7 if you want a more sort of expanded report.
Results.
We didn't do that.
Yeah.
But so I think we're going to go through and read each question and share our answers.
Absolutely.
And then at the end, we'll share our scores.
Hey, and just as a heads up, if you have little ears listening to this episode along with you, there is one question that's a little more adult-centric. No bad words or swearing, but an adult topic. So just as a heads up.
And I think that's question 20 or 21 or 22.
Okay.
So we can give you a heads up as it gets closer.
That's a good idea. All right, Jenny, you ready? So this is from Psychology Today. It's called the Self-Disclosure Test for Couples. Let me just read a little bit of this description. It says, are you prone to spilling the beans to your partner, or are you the tight-lipped type? This self-disclosure test for couples examines how much personal information you share with your loved one, which can have a powerful effect on the level of intimacy you attain in your relationship. Says the key to self-disclosure in relationships is balance. So the instructions are fill out the questionnaire, responding as you truthfully would in such situations, and then you can talk about it with your partner.
Cool.
So let's go ahead and begin.
Okay.
Which we already took the test, but
right.
We're going to go through each of these questions. So this first section is a series of questions where you choose completely true, mostly true, somewhat true, mostly false, or completely false. And then there are the second half of the test is like situational. Yeah. Okay, so this first one is, I don't think very highly of myself.
What'd you put?
But mostly false.
I put somewhat true or false.
Okay. That makes sense.
Because
I have a little more confidence in you.
It depends. And so that was a lot of my answers are sort of, I chose this and it depends on the situation. Right. So I guess in some situations, I think I think that term, I think very highly of myself, is kind of cocky in a way.
Yeah.
Right. It's not like confidence. As is usually the case when we take a quiz, I don't really like this quiz. I would reword it.
Can you just start writing all the quizzes for us, Jenny?
I don't know. I'll add it to my list.
Okay.
I want to look into writing BuzzFeed quizzes.
Yes, you should.
So we can find out what kind of soup you are.
Question number 2. I'm better off keeping my opinions to myself because my partner will probably think that they're stupid.
I wrote completely false.
That's what I wrote as well.
Okay. Yeah. I feel like you might think I'm stupid, think my opinions are stupid, but I feel like we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I think overall people find me boring to listen to.
What'd you put?
It's funny to me, this one. I don't know why. I wrote, I checked mostly false.
I wrote mostly true.
Interesting. You host a podcast with over 10,000 downloads. You think people are bored listening to you?
If it were just me talking by myself, yeah, maybe.
No, I don't think so.
I think
so. And you talk kind of for a living. Well, you listen for a living.
I listen for a living.
But
yeah.
Yeah.
And I, yeah.
You teach too.
I know. And lately I've been feeling like I'm not really lecturing right now. It's a flipped classroom. So they get their lectures asynchronously during the week, and then they come to their live remote session, and it's more like a workshop, like a lab.
I get that.
So we're not really lecturing. So I'm not really, I guess I'm just engaged. I'm missing that engagement.
Okay.
That I used to have.
Yeah, again, maybe I'm a little more cocky than you. I don't know.
You are for sure more cocky than I am.
I don't mind. Hey, you want to listen to me? All right, number 4.
I also feel like in some cases, like socially, I will be telling a story. Like I'll think, I have this great story to tell, and I'll start telling it. And then halfway through, I want to bail because I'm like, the story isn't as fun as I thought it was, or as funny. They don't really seem interested. So I just want to be like, I'm done. Just kidding.
But are they really not interested, or is that just you thinking they're not interested?
Maybe a little bit of both.
Okay.
But not with you.
No.
It's different. Okay.
No. Number 4, revealing personal information about myself guarantees that people will dislike me.
I put completely true.
What?
Yeah, I feel like
Really?
because I'm living my life pretty authentically and openly, and always with everything, there's at least someone that dislikes me because of it, or as a result of it, or disagrees with me.
That's interesting.
You can't say I'm wrong.
I guess not. But I guess again, I have a little bit of an issue with that question only because
As I have a lot of issues
it's
with these questions.
subjective. You know, like
Right.
someone's dislikes. Who cares?
Well, again, it
People can
depends, right?
decide what they like and dislike. Like I hate olives. You know, I
Yes.
just decide. Doesn't mean anything that's wrong with olives. I
Right,
don't
right.
like olives.
Right.
Right.
So I think really what the question is trying to say is I
How you
believe
feel? Yeah.
that if I reveal personal information about myself, there will for sure be people that will dislike me because of it.
Right.
Right? It's about the sort of that belief.
I wrote somewhat true / somewhat false. I don't know.
Okay.
I also don't care.
Okay.
Number 5, I avoid having arguments with my partner because I don't want him or her to get angry with or disapprove of me.
I wrote completely false.
I wrote mostly false.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't have any issue talking to you.
But then why didn't you go with completely false instead of mostly false?
I guess I would add delay. Like I might delay having an argument until a more opportune time.
Okay.
So that's why I wrote mostly false.
Okay.
You know, I don't know. Number 6, if my opinions are not in line with my partner's, I change them.
I wrote completely false.
Completely false. Yeah. That's not a thing. Number 7, I'm afraid that if I speak my mind, my partner will reject me.
I wrote completely false. Yeah, completely false.
Yeah, I wrote completely
Okay.
false as well. Can I talk so about those two, 6 and 7? Can we talk about that just for a second?
If my opinions are not in line with my partner's, I change them. And then I'm afraid that if I speak my mind,
what?
my partner will reject me.
Let's do the next one too, and then we
Okay.
can talk about it. All right. Number 8 is if I disclose my fears to my partner, I fear he or she will mock me.
What'd you put?
Completely false.
I put somewhat true or false.
What?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes. See, you just mocked me.
That wasn't mocking. That wasn't mocking.
I feel like, yes, when it's something that will make you angry. Like the grumpy version of you that like cracks your knuckles and sighs. Like there was something that happened. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it happened very recently, very frequently. Like, oh man, the living room couch is a mess or something. And that's my opinion. My fear.
Your
So it's
fear.
my fear.
Okay.
No, so maybe I want to change this one.
Okay.
Because it's not really about fears. It's more so about feelings. But I guess it's fear that that my opinion will make you upset or that you'll mock me.
Okay.
And because you do, right? Like the sort of grumpy version of you will sort of mock us.
Yeah. I guess. Which is not cool. I don't
No,
want that to be a thing.
I know you're working on it, but sort of that like, yeah. So I said a 3, like not
Okay.
all the time, but sometimes.
Well, I put completely false because I don't think of it as mocking. Like you might challenge me or say why, I don't know. Fears is a weird thing. I read it as opinions too, not fears.
Okay. Yeah.
But I feel like you would be completely supportive if I'm afraid of something.
I try not to be mocking, but I do feel like when you're angry about something or you're defensive about something or you disagree with something that like I don't know, that there's strong feelings about, then you do tend to sort of come off in this mocking kind of way. I don't think any of this is new information that I'm
No.
sharing. We've had this conversation and
Yeah.
it was recent, which is why I think it's coloring my answer. So anyways, I said 3 because sometimes.
Okay, that's true for you.
Okay.
6 and 7, though, I wanted to talk about because I feel like, I don't know, let's review what those are. So if my opinions are not in line with my partner's, I change them. And 7, I'm afraid that if I speak my mind, my partner will reject me. I feel like, I don't know, I'm going to say something that maybe not is appropriate, but it's okay for me to say because I'm not a trained therapist. I feel like if anything other than mostly false or completely false is selected, like there's some issues.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I feel like if you're in a relationship, you should be able to have your own opinion and not be afraid that your partner is going to reject you if you speak your mind. I just feel like, I don't know, those ones, they're red flaggy to me because I was like, oh, definitely not. Never. We have great, this will come up later, but you and I, we have a lot of the same opinions and beliefs on things, but we also differ. And I enjoy having those discussions with you. And I think that makes our relationship even more rich and dynamic to have those conversations back and forth.
And I think safe, right? Like, I think, and I will say that there are lots of couples that don't have the benefit of having that sort of safety that we do.
Yeah.
And because I see it come up a lot, and that's a really hard thing, because ultimately there's no way around that, right? If you can't, as a couple, figure out a way to feel safe sharing your opinions with each other in some way, right? Maybe that means delaying it or sort of changing the setting of it. But if you don't get to a place where both of you are safe or feel safe in doing that, then that's just going to lead to resentment at some point and grow and sort of make both of you lean out of the relationship. Mm-hmm. So that is, sort of one of the things that can break down a relationship.
Yeah. No, those spoke to me because I just thought if anybody is selecting true for those, you have to really think about the relationship you're in, I feel like. I don't know.
Well, I don't necessarily think you have to think about the relationship you're in, but your relationship probably could benefit from some support.
Yes.
Around like communication, and communication styles.
Maybe visit betterhelp.com.
True. Yes.
Yes.
It is. Well, we still have to do sort of an episode on couples therapy.
We have a myths about on our list.
But I think that's really scary for a lot of people and hard to think about doing, right? I think a lot of people think of like, oh, if I need couples therapy or if we need couples therapy, then we really should just walk away from the relationship because that means that like your relationship is totally broken.
Hey, let's do a spoiler alert. That is not true.
No, I think
that's
every couple.
Number one.
Mm-hmm. I think really couples therapy can be more like couples coaching in a way, right? Like it's sort of like skill building and communication building, and there's something really beneficial about having sort of a neutral party sitting with you and your partner, and you can do it virtually, but sitting with you and your partner who is not one person's therapist, right? Like they meet you, they're there for both of you. There's not a side that they're taking, and they're trained, and they really can sort of watch you have discussions with each other and pick up on the way you're talking to each other, the way you're listening to each other, the way you're arguing, and just be able to sort of hold up the mirror to you. I think couples should do that before they get married, right? We were both raised Catholic, and went through the whole like Catholic, like pre-Cana requirements of getting married. But then ultimately we decided we weren't going to get married in a Catholic church because we were living together at the time, and we would have had to lie and say that we weren't. And
ultimately that's not
right
currently what we believe.
Right. So. But we didn't make that decision until we had gone through the pre-Cana stuff, which I actually found really helpful. We went away for like a 2-day retreat. Yeah. We didn't stay over because it was Catholic, right? Yeah. But a 2-day retreat where it was 2 full days of basically like couples counseling and workshops and having these conversations. And I think that was really beneficial. Certainly some of it was about sort of religion and your beliefs, but a good part of it was about communication.
Yeah. I like that phrase, couples coaching. Is that a Jenny phrase?
Well, I mean, I guess, but there are coaches out there, but
couples coaching TM.
No, I don't think I can trademark that.
Changing perspectives.
But I think maybe it makes it a little less frightening to people. Yeah. So I guess if you're out there listening and one or both of you of ended up on the other end of the spectrum there, the what always true or whatever it was, I navigated away from it.
Mostly true or something.
Then you might want to think about finding some sort of coach to help you and your partner.
I like that.
Okay.
So listen. Pending episode in the near future, myths about couples therapy.
Okay.
I like that, couples coaching. Okay. So the next section of the quiz or test is situational.
Right.
So we're on question number 9 now. I'm going to read these. The first one is, You just got home from having one of those days. On your way home, you were daydreaming and trying to free your mind from the horrors of the workday when you somehow managed to trip and skid to a stop face down on another pedestrian's feet. You feel humiliated and ridiculous. Upon your arrival home, your partner asks you if you had a good day. What is your immediate response? So there are 6 different options here. It's my day was lousy. My day was lousy, and to top it all off, I fell flat on my face in the middle of the sidewalk. Option 3, lousy, but I don't really want to talk about it. I've had better days. Number 5, my day was okay, nothing special. And number 6, my day was just fine.
I am a negative Nancy, so I would say my day was lousy, and to top it all off, I fell flat on my face in the middle of the sidewalk.
Okay, so I want to stop you for a second and talk about negative Nancy. Why is the negative Nancy? Because that's the truth. That's the truth. That's what happened.
But there's something about perspective
like
there, right?
Like your truth relative to your life, work was tough, and you tripped on the way home. It's okay to say that.
But maybe there was some good stuff that happened too.
Okay.
Right. But I think after I'm having a day like that, I could see myself needing first to sort of be in the negativity and to sort of share that and get rid of that, and then be able to sort of go back and find the positives of the day. Like, at least I didn't break my nose or my teeth or my hand or whatever.
Right. I love that about you, and I need to do that more.
What?
The fact that you're like, but what?
Oh.
What good happened?
Yeah, but I don't do that right in the moment.
Right. But yeah, we all can benefit from that. I feel like that's, if you're...
But that borders on the line of like, but I never also, so I don't want to be a negative Nancy. I also don't want to be like a toxic positivity Patty. TM Jenny.
Nice. All kinds of trademark stuff today.
Like the toxic positivity really bugs me. Like the just be happy, just choose happiness. Like, it's okay. Like that. Sometimes it's not okay. And sometimes you can't choose happiness. And sometimes your day just does stink. And the only thing that is okay is that you didn't die. Like, sometimes you just have days like that. And the worst thing someone can say to you is like, but at least you're still alive. Like, no, back off, Patty. Let me have a bad day. So I want to sort of find a balance between negative Nancy and toxic positivity Patty. I
used to work with a guy in EMS. He'd say, "Hey, how you doing?" And every single time he'd go, "Upright and breathing." Every time. Okay. But I picked the same one because I tell you, I vent to you.
Right.
And sometimes it's not, it could be draining for you to be the recipient of all the venting. But the first thing I want to say, if I had a day like that and got home, I'm like, Jenny, guess what happened? But I think that we all could benefit from a little bit of, realizing positivity. I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like if you're good at practicing mindfulness, I think you probably have more of an inclination to have those positive thoughts, or am I grasping at straws?
I mean, I guess that would make sense. I don't know. I guess I haven't really read a study that shows that.
If I feel like if I'm good at mindfulness and I have integrated meditation in my regular routine, I feel like I would be maybe more at peace with a situation like that.
I think it's probably easier for you to let go of the negativity piece. Okay. Want me to read the next one so you can have a break with your voice?
We'll alternate now.
So number 10 is, you are watching the evening news. Do people do that anymore? With your partner.
On your phone.
A special report is aired on an issue you feel strongly about. That's crazy. I can't see that happening ever right now. Your beliefs are contrary to popular opinion. Do you voice your somewhat, quote, politically incorrect, end quote, views to your partner? First option, no, I want to keep that part of my beliefs from him or her. I suspect that she or he would not be in agreement with me on this one. Number 2, no, my political opinions are none of my partner's business. Number 3, only if he or she asks me how I feel about it. Number 4, only if she or he voices the same opinion that I hold. Or number 5, yes, I don't hold controversial opinions back from my partner. What'd you put?
I went with 5.
I did too.
I don't hold controversial opinions back from my partner.
I do not either.
No, we had talked about that a little, a few moments ago.
Yeah, I feel like some of these are the same vein, like just sort of open and honest.
We're open and honest with each other, and I appreciate your opinions.
But I will also say that on most of the political stuff we share,
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the big ones. Yeah, we share. Yeah.
I feel like it never used to. Well, no. I mean, you and I sort of jived a lot on the same things all throughout our history, but I think there are a few moments in our history where we didn't. And there's probably a couple things we disagree on now, but
okay.
But I appreciate, our ability to have that healthy discussion back and forth. All right, number 11.
Oh, wait, I will say it's interesting now that our children are older that now they're participating in those conversations, right? And they do not necessarily share the same views as us or as each other. So it's interesting having like these somewhat spirited discussions
Philosophical, spirited discussions.
Yeah. But I feel like all four of us are able to be open and honest about our views, even if they're sort of controversial. Yeah. Okay.
All right, number 11. You're in the same situation as mentioned above, except that your beliefs are in sync with popular opinion and your partners are not. Your partner makes a biting remark about the issue. Do you voice your opposing view?
For me, this is the same.
So, there's 4 options. Basically, no way, we've talked about it before, and I would not start a fight. No, I would say I have no opinion, only if she or he asks me how I feel about it, and finally, yes, I don't hold any opinions back from my partner, and that's what I chose as well.
Okay.
Right,
you and your partner are out having a leisurely walk, or so you thought. After about 15 minutes of enjoying the fresh air, your partner is ready to just pop in to his or her favorite shop. You know this can easily turn into an hour-long ordeal. You agree to go in, hoping that they will be true to their word. After 45 minutes have passed, you are still hanging around the store. Do you bring up your frustration with your partner? 1, no, I wouldn't want to create hostility between us. 2, not directly. I drop a few hints, but leave it at that if he or she doesn't catch on. Number 3, not directly, but I'd keep dropping hints until he or she gets the point. Number 4, no, but I would act annoyed and or bored. Or number 5, yes, I'd be honest and tell her or him that I'd rather continue our walk. This would be a 5 for me.
Okay.
What's so funny?
I'm thinking like this has happened before, where like famous last words, or you say yes when I say, "Hey, can we walk into this music store real quick?" But yeah, I mean, you would be like, "Hey, let's go."
Yeah.
We're all done here.
I wouldn't pull you out. I'd be like, I'll be outside.
That's what I wanted to say. So I wrote, yes, I'd be honest and tell him. Yeah, I pricked that one as well. But I wouldn't pull you out. I'd be like, just take your time. Or it's all, whatever.
I'll be outside, or I'm going to go into the next store, or I'm going to be sitting down or something.
Hey, do you mind if I go across to the music store while you're hanging out in this clothing store or whatever? Yeah. All right. Think we're going to win this quiz, Jenny?
Are we winning? I think so. I think we're probably pretty synced.
All right. Question 13. You have an evaluation session scheduled for next week with your boss. We'll just stick with boss.
Yeah. It says boss or teacher, but in our situation, it would be boss.
This could prove to be a very important meeting as far as your salary is concerned. As the date looms near, you become more and more nervous. Do you discuss your feelings with your partner? And there are 5 options. First one, no, I don't want my partner to think I'm a wimp. 2, only if he or she notices something's up and asks me about it. Number 3, I would mention it but pretend it was no big deal. Number 4, I would mention it but only elaborate if he or she expresses interest. And finally, number 5, yes, I tell him or her how scared I am and why. What did you go with?
Number 5?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, well, I think it's very clear that you and I are each other's best friend.
Yeah.
But not every couple is that way.
That's true.
Right?
I wonder,
and that's okay.
I would like to really have this. I would like to see the results of somebody that in a relationship that's a good, they're in a good, loving relationship, but their best friend is somebody else.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, I guess I would love to see a different sort of makeup of a couple and see their results of this. Like what happens when they take this test? Because I guess it's probably pretty important that you at least have someone that you could say, yes, I tell that, like that you have someone, that each member of the partnership has someone to whom they can be this honest. But then I wonder where that line is with like how honest are you able to be with each other?
Because I read that scenario and I get anxiety thinking about not telling you.
I know. Yeah.
Like I need Jenny. I need to go through this with Jenny.
Right.
Yeah.
Same. All right. You and your partner are out having an afternoon coffee.
This is number 14.
you look up, and who should catch your eye but someone you had a fling with a few years back before you met your partner. So for us, that would be when we were like 11.
Junior high.
15. She or he sees you too and says a quick hello before heading out the door.
That would have been 14.
That's right. You turned 15 like a week before we dated.
Yeah, literally a week.
Mm-hmm. You know your partner doesn't know who they were. Do you tell them? 1, no, I lie and say it's an old friend from school. 2, no, I'm too embarrassed to share that part of my past with my partner. Number 3, yes, but only if my partner asks. Number 4, yes, I simply tell my partner that they used to date, or he or she and I used to date. Or number 5, yes, I tell my partner all of the details of our relationship, including the physical aspects. What'd you put?
I went 100% with number 5.
Did you?
Yeah.
I put a number 4. Yes. I simply tell my partner that he or I used to date. Here I'm extrapolating a little bit about what I think I might do, but I don't think as we're enjoying our coffee, I would like dump all that on you. I think
That's
I would
true.
answer questions. I think I would approach it like you approach telling children things. You give them you don't lie. You give them as much information as what they're asking for. And then if they want more information, you give it to them when they ask it.
So, yeah, I guess it's weird for us because we know in our dating history prior to us is we were adolescents,
Right.
So it's, whatever. But
so we're totally speculating here.
Totally speculating. Yeah.
But again, like it depends. Like, okay, how long have we been together and how serious was that relationship? And like, why don't we know? I don't know. I guess there are some partners that don't share details. I don't know.
Right.
But they called it a fling, so it's not really a relationship that they had.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I took my best guess. I went with a 4.
I guess I probably should have. I just got with the 5th one because I would tell you.
That's cool.
But like we didn't have ex-lovers. You know what I'm saying?
I kept that word out of there.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, that's number 5 says, everybody.
Okay. All right. I'll read the next one for you because your voice is really struggling.
Yeah, I keep hitting the mute to clear my throat.
Yeah, but you're not muting me.
Yeah, I'm sorry, everybody. My throat's.
I think you need to take some allergy pills.
Allergies.
Yeah. Number 15. Over dinner one evening, your partner makes a moral statement that makes your blood boil. You are stunned that they would say something like that. You are clearly coming from different directions. How do you deal with his or her comment? 1, I clam up. I don't want him or her to know how I feel. Number 2, I shoot them a dirty look to show that I don't agree. Number 3, I pretend to be in agreement with them. Number 4, I hold my tongue unless he continues pushing my buttons, in which case I let him or her have it. Number 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I tell him or her I disagree and explain my point of view. Or number 6, I tell him or her that hearing such comments offend me and suggest that if we are to stay together, we need to work through our differences. What'd you put?
I feel like that's an extreme answer, that last one.
Yeah.
I went with the second to last one. I tell him or her I disagree and explain my point of view.
Yeah. Like it does, I guess it depends. It would have to be something pretty extreme to make me be like, we need to figure this out or we're breaking up.
Yeah.
Right. Although, that does happen with couples, right?
Do you see that professionally? You don't do couples now, but
no. But I will. One of the bachelorettes broke their relationship.
Really?
during quarantine, like with all the sort of political stuff. I think Everett's barking. It was a podcast that I was listening to. It's 2 of the bachelorettes from previous seasons that have both. One's married, one's engaged. Both seem to be like really healthy. I don't think Becca.
We share an iTunes account.
Becca
so I see the.
Becca was
feed.
right. I forget. I don't even know what it's called. But Becca was the one who got broken up with, like live, after the season. I think Ari maybe came back and broke up with her, and they did it in front of the cameras. And then so that's probably food getting dropped off. And then she got to be the bachelorette. Anyway, she ended up with the guy she picked and they had a wonderful relationship. But because of something he posted about online, I'm sure that there was more to it, but he posted something, got a huge bunch of like flack about it.
Yeah.
She talked about on the podcast about like how she was horrified that he had that view and that opinion. And then they broke up.
Wow.
So I think that does happen.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was my long-winded way to say that.
It wouldn't happen with us, I don't think.
Okay.
I can read the next one.
Okay.
Number 16, your mother has called to chat. She gives you all the gossip on the families in your old neighborhood and then begins to voice her usual complaints about you, such as, why don't you visit her more often? Why don't you find a better job? Why are you still single / childless? You are irritated beyond words. A few minutes after you hang up, your partner calls, asking how your day is going. How do you respond? There are 5 options. Number 1, I rehash in detail the entire conversation with my mom. Number 2, I summarize the conversation with my mom, leaving out irrelevant details. Number 3, I mention that I have just hung up with my mom and I'm in a less than cheerful mood. Number 4, I let him or her know and I'm in a grumpy mood, but I don't let her on the reason why. And finally, I don't even mention the ridiculous mother-child conversation.
I rehash in detail the entire conversation with my mom. Like whatever the situation is, I would just rehash the whole thing.
So I did not go with that one.
Huh. Interesting. Why?
Because I'm not good at telling you details of conversations.
That is so true.
So I chose, I summarized the conversation with my mom, leaving out irrelevant details.
Okay.
I know that you don't consider any detail irrelevant when you're asking me my conversation with my mom or
right.
somebody
or anybody.
Or
yeah, anybody, right?
Yeah.
Like any story where there's something that happens that makes you like upset. Yeah, those details are all like, well, but how did they say it?
Yeah.
And what exactly did they say?
Exactly.
You're right. So you're not really good at that. Okay.
What is that? There's a comedian that talks about that. I forget.
I'm bad
good
at
story,
pulling comedian names. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's a bit where he talks about that.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I chose. Second
Okay.
one.
Number 17, you desperately want to go see the new movie starring your favorite actor or actress. You know the storyline looks a bit weak, but you don't care. The leading man or leading lady is undeniably hot. When your partner asks why you are so set on this film, what response are you most likely to give? 1, I tell him or her that it's merely the storyline that interests me. 2, I claim that I read reviews on the movie and it seemed great. Number 3, I highlight the fact that the leading lady or man is fantastic in terms of talent, of course. Number 4, I simply state that it stars my favorite actor or actress. Or number 5, I admit to him or her that I want to see it because I think the leading lady or leading man is gorgeous. I wrote 5. I guess I would just be honest, but that never really happens.
Okay. So I would never just see a movie because of that.
Yeah, like me
Ever.
either.
Yeah.
This was, see, I don't really like this quiz because I feel like I couldn't identify with a lot of these scenarios.
I have like favorite artists or entertainers because of their skill set, not because of the way they look. However, if that was true, I would tell you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway.
All right. I'll read the next one for you too. My voice has been froggy for like 17 episodes now, and it's finally a little better. Number 18.
By the way, can we go see the new Margot Robbie movie? No, for no real reason.
Right.
That's supposed to be funny.
Is she Harley Quinn?
Yes.
Okay. Number 18. Your partner has
Is this thing on?
Your partner has a certain childhood friend with whom he or she continues to spend time with. This person, however, absolutely annoys you. She or he likes to mouth off a lot and always insists on going places that she or he wants, no matter how much you protest. Do you tell your partner how you feel about his or her friend? 1, no, it's not my place to comment on his or her friends. Sorry, there's a typo there. Number 2, no, I don't want to upset my partner. Number 3, yes, but only if my partner asks my opinion of his or her pal. Number 4, yes, but I'll soften my comments. This person is special to my partner. And number 5, yes, I would tell my partner exactly how I felt about his or her friend without holding anything back. What did I put? I put yes, but only if my partner asks my opinion.
Really?
I would like to change that. I'm going to go to yes, but I'll soften my comments.
That's interesting.
What'd you put?
The 5th one.
Yeah.
Yes, I would tell my partner exactly how I felt about his or her friend without holding anything back.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's what I would do. I do that.
I was going to say that is what you have done. Mm-hmm.
And I would not change that. However, I would try not to be such a negative Nancy about it, because that's feedback you've given me before. Like if I don't necessarily like somebody that is a friend of yours, I feel like I can be a little too harsh sometimes. Mm-hmm. So that's all.
That's true. I agree.
So I guess I probably should have chosen 4. but I chose
But you're being
5.
honest because
Being honest,
you would say like, I don't want to go in blah, 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 like that.
Like, she is the worst.
But there is nobody in my life right now about which you say that.
No.
But we're talking about past stuff here.
Yes,
Okay.
past stuff. Past stuff.
Number 19, you are daydreaming one afternoon about what it would be like to abandon your current life and start everything over again in a new place with a new job on your own. Your partner notices your distant gaze and asks what you're thinking about. How do you respond? 1, I share my whole daydream, sparing no detail. 2, I share my whole daydream, but make sure to include him or her somewhere in the equation. Number 3, I make up something less personal like, I was thinking about a dream I had last night. Number 4, I say it's silly and try to change the subject. Number 5, I lie and say that I was just staring into space. Or number 6, I share a bit of the daydream, mentioning my longing for change without being specific. I put number 2.
I don't like this question.
I don't either. I put number 2.
So did I.
And now I don't know if that's really what I would put.
Well, I chose number 2, but not for the reason the quiz lays out.
What's the I guess the reason I chose it is because it's kind of being honest, but being thoughtful.
Yeah, I mean, but I would honestly want you in the the picture.
All right.
Like, I would never daydream about not hanging out, not being.
Oh, I've had daydreams. No, I'm just
funny.
kidding.
Yeah, but I don't know. And so it would be either 1 or 2.
Okay.
And the only reason I picked 2 is because you really would be somewhere in the equation.
You know, thinking about going through this, if you are a couple like for whom maybe being really vulnerable about certain topics is hard with each other, then I can see this being kind of triggering. Like if you're going through this with each other and one of the persons is like, well, I really did I was doing that yesterday, or I do that every day.
Yeah.
I daydream about what life would be like without you. That there could be some damaging things that come out of this.
Yeah, I mean, if you are, a couple that is sort of on the fence about whether or not you should be together or
no, I like even just a regular couple that's not really maybe aware of these underlying issues.
Yeah. I can do the next one.
Okay.
Number 20. Both you and your partner are feeling the effects of this is disclaimer. Disclaimer.
If you've got little ears, you might want to just jump ahead to this one.
Yeah, this is the.
But let me read it. I think I can censor it myself.
I'll
read it.
Jenny.
Both you and your partner are feeling the effects of a physical connection slump. The spark just doesn't seem to be igniting these days. You're feeling a bit down about the whole situation. Do you address the issue with your partner? 1, no, I don't want him or her to think I am like an addict. Number 2, no, I'm not comfortable discussing that part of our relationship. Number 3, only if they bring it up first, but even then I'd feel uncomfortable. Number 4, yes, I'd bring up the issue very gently, but I wouldn't go into too much detail. Number 5, yes, I'd bring it out into the open to see what can be done to rekindle it. Or number 6, I would buy a few self-help books on the topic and slowly give him or her the hint that we need to fix this part of our relationship. How did I do?
That was impressive.
Thanks.
Very, very impressive.
What did I put? I put 5. But
yes, I did too.
But for part of this, I was thinking there were only 5 questions for the whole thing. So did I? No, I think that's what I meant. I meant 5. So yes, I'd bring that part of our relationship into the open to see what could be done.
100%.
So I'd address it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is a concern I have.
What can we do together to?
And maybe then the solution is to buy some self-help books. Okay.
Same brain, Jenny.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking.
This is why we are compatible in some issues.
But I wouldn't want it in some issues.
Well, we're not like the same person.
No. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I get what you mean. I wouldn't be so forward as to assume what the solution would be by buying self-help books.
Right.
Because maybe that's not what we need. Maybe, but let's talk about it.
Okay.
Okay, number 21. At your office party.
I'll read it. At your office party, your partner makes a rather unsavory comment about a specific cultural group. You know he or she was simply trying to be funny when making the remark, but it was blatantly disrespectful. You are embarrassed for your partner and for yourself. What do you do? Okay, reading it before, I just saw office party, but I see that it's specifically your office party. Your office party. Number 1.
Why can't I say that?
It's hard. You can't say. There are lots of words you can't say. Number 1, I ignore my partner for the rest of the evening, sending the message that I am not impressed. Number 2, I pretend I didn't hear the remark and continue chatting, never bringing it up. Number 3, I cringe and look away from the other guests, but I don't bring it up with my partner at any point. Number 4, I give him or her a dirty look, but I don't bring it up with my partner unless they do. Number 5, I keep quiet, and later when we are alone, I mention the impropriety of his or her comments. And number 6, I move my partner away from the other guests and tell him or her that she or he was disrespectful.
What did you go with?
I put the last one.
Right away, you do that? I'm giving away what I chose. I chose number 5 only because I wouldn't want to make like a scene in that moment. If you had stopped talking or whatever, and there was like people had moved on, I wouldn't have. Like I'd see no reason to like make a scene and pull you away.
Well, I wouldn't make a scene. Okay. I just read it as like that in the moment before like you guys leave the party and go home, like when you get like a moment.
No, I didn't. Well,
it says when you're alone.
Oh.
Which I took to mean like when we're home.
Oh no, I took it to mean like when we're alone.
Yeah, so that's how
Maybe still at the party.
That's how I understood. So I moved my partner away from the other guests. All right, yeah.
I feel like that's
so that is what I was saying, because I wouldn't pull you away.
Yeah.
And make a scene. Okay.
Like if we were in a circle talking to people at a party, like mingling, and you said something, I'd have been like, "Let's go." Like that's what I read that as, and I wouldn't do that.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I changed my answer to number 5.
But bottom line is, we would tell each other.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like these options farther up on the list, like I ignore my partner for the rest of the evening, sending the message that I'm not impressed. Like, no, that's not very good communication.
Right. Okay, and then the last one, number 22.
You're on a roll. You
had a fight with a friend, and he or she told you some unflattering things about your personality. You feel that he or she was being unfair for the most part, but there were arguments that did ring true. Do you discuss the details with your partner? This one only has 4 options. 1, yes, I call him or her ASAP to recount the whole argument. Number 2, yes, the next time we happen to speak. Number 3, no, I only discuss the fight itself, skipping all the unflattering comments that hit home. And number 4, no, I keep the whole episode to myself. I don't want my partner to hear any negative things about me. I said yes, I would call ASAP to recount the whole argument.
I absolutely chose the same one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So then what was your score? I did make a change. So I wonder if that...
You were flying through the end of this. Do you have a hot date to go on?
I do.
You need to tell me about?
No, but Everett is barking.
Yeah, that's okay.
Hold on. I didn't answer one. Let's see. I'm wondering if my score is different because I changed it. It did, actually.
Mine changed a little bit.
It dropped it by 3 points.
Mine too.
Oh, so what's your score?
What was your first score?
My first score was 93.
Oh, my first score was 90.
Oh, so are you 87 now?
I'm 87 now.
I'm a 90 now.
Okay.
Okay, so can I read mine?
Go ahead.
So it says...
Mine had the same...
I wonder if it's actually the same thing it said
I think mine's
before.
the same too. So it gives you a range, so like 0 to 100. And it says your level of comfort with conflict. And that's your score. So mine is 87 and yours is 90. Read what yours says.
Okay. You seem to be able to deal extremely well with conflict, as well as capable of approaching touchy subjects in your relationship. In fact, you are comfortable with confrontation and seldom avoid voicing your opinion, even if you suspect it may spark a disagreement with your partner. You seem to recognize that your partner chose you because you are unique, and that you, like everyone else, need room to be the individual that you are. That's interesting. I don't know how they get that. The approach certainly should allow you to reach a high level of closeness in your relationship. One word of caution, be sure that you still consider your partner's feelings and communicate in a non-aggressive way. You can resolve a conflict and be nice at the same time. Was yours the same?
The exact same, word for word.
So I wonder if the range is like 80 to 100 there, because there's sort of visual lines there on the snapshot report. So I wonder if that's your score for like 80 to 100.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Let me check and see if it was the same for 93, because
Oh yeah, because you had a different
took a picture.
Score.
It's the same.
It's the same?
Yep.
Yeah, mine, let me, all right, so you had 90 before.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I had 90 before. I wonder what questions I had that were different the second time through. I don't remember. But yeah, the fact that we are totally comfortable with confrontation, you know, and it's not about, I don't remember the last time I was like afraid to have a conversation with you about something. Maybe when we were in high school. I don't know. I've always been open enough to be able to approach touchy subjects or to voice my opinion. Even if it is something that you may or may not disagree with. I think that it's good to have that sort of healthy discussion. And I often learn stuff, like legit. I'm not trying to like be hokey or whatever. Like if I disagree slightly on some sort of topic with you, I enjoy learning about it, right? If like even if it's something as silly as Jenny, I do not want to watch The Real Housewives of whatever. It's not happening.
Or The Bachelorette. That's the conversation we had last night.
But then you'll say something like, yeah, but this episode, this happened and this person did this. I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
Okay.
You know, like it's good to have those discussions about differing opinions.
I guess it keeps it interesting.
Yeah. Well, you can learn something, you know?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. So from a professional standpoint, what do you think of this test?
I think it's dangerous in a way. I don't know. I don't know that I would recommend this one, right? Like just last week, I was talking to a client about something and sent them a couple of the quizzes that we have done, like the love languages, I think is really important, and the apology style, the apology language one.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the love language, it was the apology languages, which is from Chapman, the same person that did the love languages, and the repairing your relationship questionnaire we did way back when.
Was that Gottman?
That was Gottman.
Okay.
Yeah. So Gottman and Chapman, I feel like those are, I think I'd be hard pressed to not suggest those ones. This one, I actually don't think it said who did this. I know it's from Psychology Today. And they have a whole lot of bloggers and writers for them. So I don't know what this individual's background is, but I feel like this could be pretty triggering and could sort of uncover some tender subjects that might be difficult. So I guess, what am I trying to say? I guess think about it. Like this one could be potentially pretty heavy and deep.
I was going to say.
So don't take it as like hey,
a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Thing with
like don't be like, hey, I'm bored. It's Friday night. It's snowing out. We can't go out. We lost the power. Let's do this fun little quiz. I think this is not a fun little quiz. I think that this is a quiz if you want to sort of find out some more information about how you and your partner communicate and how you communicate specifically around things that maybe are vulnerable. This is a good way to spark some conversation, but it's certainly not light and easy and breezy. And so you need to be willing to hear what your partner says and be willing to kind of figure out what are you going to do to fix it. Does that make sense?
100%. So they have, when you finish the test, you can pay a fee and actually get expanded results. We're not recommending that in any way. They're not a sponsor or anything like that. So you can.
Well, and we can't speak to it.
I don't know what. We can't speak to it. We haven't done it. So, but they have a summary, which is what we read, and then they have an intro, probably with information about the actual test itself, some graphs, detailed results, strengths and limitations, and advice. So they have lots of other areas you can look at after taking the test, but you have to buy that personalized report.
Which isn't that expensive. It's $7 per person. So we're talking about under $15. You each can have sort of this personalized report. And I'm going to assume because it's through Psychology Today, which is where you can find one of the best places to find therapists, both individual therapists and couples therapists. Yep. I'm going to guess that part of the advice is to find a therapist. And so I guess I see this as an investment tool.
Yeah, and
like if you're struggling with something in your relationship and you're both ready and willing to kind of go there and be honest, then this is an okay thing to do. But if you're struggling with being honest with each other, I think it's going to be really hard to be honest on a quiz like this. So maybe it's something you do individually without your partner. And look at the results on your own, and then kind of come up with a plan for addressing it. Because when you are able to be in a relationship where you can be yourself and you can share, your opinions, whether they're controversial or not, whether they go against what your partner thinks or your friend thinks, like those are the best relationships, right? When you can kind of just be yourself and not fear that you're going to be judged or sort of abandoned because the person doesn't agree with you. Like that's beautiful. If you can get to that space in your romantic partnership or your friendships, that's great. Like why wouldn't you do that? But it's hard work because it means kind of being vulnerable is a risk. Right? Like last week, I think I post a daily meme every day. that is something that, either comes from something I've written, or more often than not, it's like before I go to bed, I'm like, what am I going to say tomorrow morning? And then I just sort of write it on the spot. Last week, one of them was something about like amazing things can happen when you are vulnerable, or something like that. And everyone was like, yeah, that's true. That's true. And someone wrote like, yeah, sometimes, but sometimes you can get hurt in the process. And that's true, right? Like being vulnerable, there can be great benefits and rewards from that, but there is great risk to that. So
especially with something like this.
Yeah. So I guess a good conversation starter, but certainly not light, easy breezy, pour a glass of wine and put on some music and do this together. This is like work.
Like figure out what kind of
this is work. So I would say don't attempt this until you've done all the other ones. Like maybe your love languages first.
So much like we say, Psychology Today has a disclaimer, this test is intended for information and entertainment purposes only. And it's not a substitute for professional diagnosis. And it says to seek the advice of licensed mental health professional, you can search Psychology Today directory, or you can visit BetterHelp.com, a partnership with Changing Perspectives. But I wanted to say, because I was looking for the author or whatnot, or where specifically this test came from, but it is verified by Psychology Today. But Jenny, I had a couple questions for you professionally.
Okay. Before you ask me my questions,
yeah,
I was going to say something, but then I just lost it. So maybe it'll come back.
It escaped your brain.
Mm-hmm. Nope, I remember. It's very serious. Some of these, I think we would be remiss to not point out that there are a whole lot of relationships in which there is domestic violence. Yeah. There is partner abuse. And so for many individuals, they also not only do they not feel safe sort of emotionally sharing some of their honest views, but they also are not safe physically sharing some of their views. So, I think it would be remiss to not point that out and acknowledge that that is the reality for everybody. Right. So this is one of those things where you really kind of have to make sure that you're in a safe relationship.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. I think it's important. Let me ask, it's a two-part question.
Okay.
There are lots of, we wanted to do a personality test in a relationship episode today. But a lot of the personality tests out there are kind of long. And we just actually, quite honestly, didn't have the time to take a bigger one before today. So that's why we chose that one. But there's things like the Enneagram personality test, Myers-Briggs, of course, the love languages, which Jenny and I have done. Lots of different personality tests. Would you recommend couples do a test like this, or not like specifically to this, but a personality test in general, like the Enneagram one or Myers-Briggs? Do you recommend that?
I don't see a reason not to. I think it can give you some interesting insight into each other, right? Especially if you're sort of answering or sharing each other's responses to things. I think, like I think you see that shared a lot on social media. Like, what's the one that's out there right now? Like, click on the pumpkin of the month you were born in and it'll tell you about your personality, right? Like people share that stuff because it's kind of interesting, right? Not that there's any science in what pumpkin you click, but it's interesting to kind of look at someone and think of their personality and think about certain traits and whether or not that fits for them. So I don't see a reason not to do that.
And the second part of my question is, now you right now are focusing on individual therapy, but maybe at some point you will do couples again, or you've done couples before. Is this test we took today, the self-disclosure test, one that you would recommend as part of therapy? No.
No. No. I mean, that you're just asking me that. This is my sort of gut reaction. Yeah. No, but maybe I could see myself utilizing some of the scenarios or questions as like a conversation, so something to explore.
Right.
But I don't see myself ever saying to a couple that's in therapy, hey, go home and take this quiz and let's talk about it next week. I just feel like there would be better ways as a professional to sort of get to that point. Or to, facilitate that.
Right. Okay. Well, we've been on the air for about an hour. Do you have anything else to add? Thank you for going through that with me.
You're welcome. No, I think that was it.
Well, we talked about the danger, the potential pitfalls or vulnerability, depending on the type of relationship you're in or your partner. But I was happy to take that with you because I was reminded about how open we are, and that makes me feel good.
Okay.
So, yeah. All right. So any final thoughts for us today, Jenny?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah, no, I'm thinking of the dates. I think that this coming weekend, there's going to be a 20% off sale, which is the biggest sale we've had in our Changing Perspectives shop. So, and I think I can only run it for 2 days. So I think I'm running it on Saturday and Sunday. So I was just thinking, like, will that work for the timing of this release? So yes, it will.
Yes, this is going to be released on the 20th. We will most likely see everybody. Join us, hopefully, for this weekend coming up. We're going to join you.
I don't know.
Live.
We have 2 birthday parties for you and our other. One birthday party for 2. Not really a party.
We're gonna try to go live soon. Be on the lookout for that. We'll try to go live the same weekend, but with a big 20% off sale. I particularly like the Indoorsy hoodie, but I think I want
that. You can't get that. I feel like that's a girly thing.
That's a girly thing.
I
like it though. I don't think I would buy it for myself.
I want the like wide neck sweatshirt one.
I need a Changing Perspective.
Like the off the shoulder one.
It's time to put some stuff in our cart.
Oh.
No, don't say that.
I'm sorry.
And by the way, don't forget, we read your iTunes reviews over the air. So if you have not rated us and reviewed us yet on iTunes, please do so. It helps more friends reach Changing Perspectives. Tell your friends. Share the episode, share the show with your friends, so we can expand the audience.
Yes, and we were trending in Australia last week or the week before when we got our stats. I don't know what we did to make Australia
I love
listen
Australia.
to us, but I would love to live there.
We need to
I
go
take
there.
that back. I don't want to live there. I'm scared of kangaroos.
Too many bugs.
No, kangaroos. I'm scared of kangaroos and turkeys and sharks.
You're scared of a lot in the
snakes.
animal kingdom.
That's it, though. And scorpions. Yeah. Did you see that one of the resorts we've gone to I can't remember if it was Punta Cana or was it Mexico? But there were scorpions in their pool. They had like a swim out pool and there were scorpions in it.
No.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. It must have been Mexico because it was right after the hurricane.
Oh. Mm-hmm. That'd be cool to see, though.
No.
I'm an animal guy, so.
No.
Including bugs.
Okay, all right. Yeah,
anyway.
So I guess I am scared of a lot of things, but so scared of kangaroos that I would not move to Australia. Also sharks. They have a lot of sharks there.
We need to visit Australia.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes.
But I'm going to be in protective full body gear and not swimming in the ocean.
Right, exactly. We'll protect you. Protect you from the scorpions,
But I would like
sharks,
to hug a koala bear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that allowed? Were you allowed to touch them?
People do it.
You're not supposed to touch like sloths and stuff.
Okay, I think we're getting into zoo territory here, but there are definitely places that let you hug and hold koala bears and sloths. Maybe they are rescuing them and helping them continue to live in a nice captivity place.
Sure. Okay.
Okay. All right. Now we are not trending in Australia anymore.
Differing opinions. All right, everybody. Well, that is going to do it for today. Thank you so much for listening. For today's show notes links, you can check out that Psychology Today test, relationships, self-disclosure test for couples. Please follow us on Facebook, everybody, at Changing Perspectives Podcast, and on Instagram at Changing Perspectives Blog. You can send us an email to info@changingperspectivesonline.com. You can also visit our website by going to changingperspectivesonline.com. And while you're there, don't forget to visit the shop to check out all of that great Changing Perspectives merchandise. 20% off sale coming at you just in a few days. Be on the lookout for that. Go ahead and subscribe to the show, everyone, so you'll never miss an episode, and we will see you next time. Say bye, Jenny.
Bye, Jenny.
The Changing Perspectives podcast is produced, recorded, and edited by Dizzy Bird Studios. Copyright 2020. Please visit Dizzy Bird Studios on Facebook. Facebook.com/Dizzy Bird Studios.